lovely friends, welcome to video number 6 of Use Those Scraps series. This is where I go and pull out my scraps and make something out of it. Now I'm showing you this container. These are the containers where I have all sorts of paper scraps that have been turned into shapes or maybe homemade embellishments. Honestly, I had forgotten I had those. Like some of those things that have there, I have had for over 4 years, and I'm not kidding you. And so this exercise is so good for me because I remember what I have and I use my stuff. So if you're kind of feeling in the same, you're kind of in the same boat as I am, where you're surrounded by stuff that you love, but you don't even remember what they have. Sometimes use your scraps, friends. Use this um, exercise or series to ignite some inspiration for you to use your scraps. Now, I need a border for this layout. You know me, I need a border on all of my layouts because that's just how I roll. But I had wanted first to use that stripe paper, but I'm like, no, it's inviting too many colors that I don't even know if it's going to show up on the final page. But then I have this red paper. It has some grid lines, but it's the perfect red for a border. But I do not have a 12-inch lengths of it. So this is the first attempt that I'm going to do where I am going to kind of piece together my border from a smaller piece of paper. And let me know if it works. Like if it's showing that it's too, like you can tell that it's been pieced apart or that it looks seamless. I don't know. I'm thinking it does look seamless just because of the pattern that I used. But let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. But of course I cut them 1/2 inch wide, and then I'm just gonna again piece them all together. Now the problem here is, of course, I'm gonna have this little piece here, and then I need to miter the corner of that. So I'm gonna figure out how to do that in a little bit. But now I'm just gonna build the border as you see me do it here. So if you're new to my channel or new to this series, I am revisiting or using up my scraps, specifically my paper scraps, because I have this container where I put all of my paper scraps and they're all organized by color. And I noticed at the end of last year that they were getting really bulky. That means that I have been just using a lot of new papers or cutting into new papers and not really using up the scraps. So that was my goal for this year. And I actually started this series at the end of December or the end of 2023, just because that's how I roll. I guess I should have just started in January, but I had them, so why not post them? So as you can see, the other side is going good. Like I'm blending it really well, and so I'm liking this technique, and I have to remember to put this back in my, or put this idea in my back pocket of ideas so that I can use more of these fairly solid colored pattern papers, and also it will help me, like if I wanted to have a border but I don't have a full 12-inch length of them, that I can just piece them together. Again, this might not work for all sorts of pattern papers, because then you're going to see the seams are going to be very obvious, but for this particular one it worked out really well as long as I'm butting it up right at the edge of it or overlapping it if the lines are not quite straight, and also that the patterns are not so busy that you're going to see all of the differences in that. Now here's where I'm going to miter it again. And I just butt them together, kind of an L shape, just so I can have that angle, or that, that angle shaped on the edges, so that they will lay nice and flat together. And I am using a white cardstock as a base. Now this one doesn't quite match up, which kind of annoys me, but it is what it is. And as you also have figured out already, this is going to be a double page layout. These photos are taken in 2019. We do a not super expensive, but we do our most expensive meal. I'm trying to think what the best adjective is, but the most expensive like meal that we would do as far as eating out would be in December because that's our special Christmas meal. And so for this one particular time, we decided we were going to go to a steak place, and my kids have never been to a steak restaurant just because there's no point in buying my kids steaks when they're like 5 and 7, right? Because they're not even going to eat all of it. So this was the first time, and my oldest at this point was like, I don't know, 16, 17. And so it was just right for our family to experience a steakhouse dinner. And then so we're just taking pictures. These are not the best pictures because they were taken with my phone, but that's okay. The most important thing here is capturing the memories for us all together. Um, 2022 Christmas of 2022 was the first Christmas that we weren't all together because my son is on a mission for our church. We belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we have this program where we have young men and women go on missions for our church. If you've ever seen, we call them elders, if you've ever seen young men with white shirts and black labels or black name tags, those are the missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And girls can also go on the missions. The boys or the guys can go on 18 and the girls can go on 19, but they can go earlier. I mean, sorry, older than that as well. I think it's like 18 to 21 or something like that, and then 19 to 24. Something to that effect. I can't remember. Anyways, he is on a mission right now, so we haven't seen him for over 6 months because he's somewhere else on a mission. But we are very proud of him for his decision to go and serve the Lord at this time of his life. So this is kind of bittersweet looking through these pictures because we were all together. But going back to the layout, the plan for this layout is that I'm going to have all the photos on the left side of the double page spread, and then I'm going to have a bunch of the stars that I had cut out with a nesting die, and they're going to be all different colors, different shapes, again using my scraps. So I will cut some more stars because I noticed that I didn't have enough, but the goal was to use up what I already have. And that happy that I just added there, that was from that container again with all of these cut aparts and like little homemade embellishments that I've done many, many years ago that I've forgotten that I had. So I have this nesting die that I got from Amazon, and it's just a star, and I am making sure that I'm spacing them properly before I cut out the shape through my die cut machine. And I am using a Cuttlebug. I've had this Cuttlebug for, I don't know, almost 20 years. It's a long time. And I actually had, what is that other one? Spellbinders. I had a Spellbinders. It was gifted to me when I was doing some design work. But then I actually donated that one because I don't need two manual die cutting machines. So I'm trying to, make the most of my space. So I'm fine with my little Cuttlebug because it's just the right size to put in my little cart, and it works fine. So here, and I intentionally used yellow because a lot of the leftovers that I have of these specific cut aparts are like different colors, and I didn't have much yellow, so that's why I'm using the yellow. And I did use a scrap of cardstock for that design as well. Now, one thing that I love about this nesting dies is it has the stitched element to it, so you can see the stitching on each of those stars. And I'm just putting it away, and then I'm going to show you all of the rest of the stars. Now, some of them I think didn't cut very well, but I'm just going to pry it out just a little bit more just to make it pop up a little bit. Now here are the rest of my stars, and so like I said, the right side of this layout is going to be filled with all of these stars that I've had for, I don't know, at least 2 years. I don't know why I'm keeping all of these little things, but I do, and so I just need to use them all up. So I'm going to create kind of I don't know, a wreath or a circle. Like I'm just going to kind of make them into kind of a circle. And then I found a frame. I'm going to show you later what it is, but I found a frame in that, again, in that container with all of these little bits and pieces of random shapes and elements. But I found a frame and it has some gold in it, and that's going to be the frame where I'm going to put my title. And the title will be a 5-star meal because I consider having a steak a special meal, and it might not be 5 stars, maybe for some, but I don't know. I feel like it should be. Anyways, I am overlapping some of the stars because of how thin they are. I think it will work really well overlapping them just so that it can fill the space. Another thing that I had decided to do was to add little bits of hearts, or no, sorry, not hearts, but stars that were cut out from gold paper. Again, these are things that are just laying around in my scrap table or my scrap stash that had no, they had, well, I don't want to say they had no purpose, but they were leftovers from a different project. And so now they don't really have a purpose. And so I'm putting them all together here so that they will have a reason or they will have a use. I guess that's what I should say. Um, I'm also trying to be conscientious of where I put the colors. I'm trying not to put two of the same paper, two same colors together. I think I'm going to end up having that pink close to the other pink just because of the way I have added all of the other stars. But for the most part, I'm trying to be conscientious of where I put these stars so not two stars of the same color are there. And I'm also alternating like the sizes of it. And I think that's the beauty of these nesting dies is you can have multiple sizes of the same shape, and then they'll be fine. Now here is where I had to add another yellow close to that one just because I don't have enough room and it was just the right size, so that's okay. Now here is that frame that I was telling you about. Of course, it's an open frame, so that needs to have some kind of paper in the back. And again, pulling out from my scraps, it seems like I can make many layouts just using my scraps. I think I made, for this particular series, I have a plan of making 10, maybe 11 layouts. And so just using the scraps. And I just think that that's amazing how many pages we can make just by scraps alone. So I am going to kind of find a spot for this particular frame, and I do want that in the center. And then I'm gonna do the number 5, and I found this sticker sheet and it's white, and as you can see I've colored in some of them. I love this because it has a really big size of letters and numbers, and so it's perfect for titles. And I am just using my marker. I think I'm using a alcohol ink for coloring in the number 5, and I used brown just because I have a lot of colors already, so I wanted a more neutral palette for my title so that it will stand out against all of the stars. And then I have this really old My Little Shoebox sticker sheet, and I'm just going to spell the rest of my title, which will be star and meal, because the whole title will say 5-star meal. And then I have some journaling for this. I don't remember where I put my journaling. I think I'm going to put my journaling like right underneath the title because I have pre-printed it already. If I was smart enough, I would have added it maybe in a block that fills some of the spaces on the left side, but I didn't think about it. Now I'm going to put that 5 on the frame or inside the frame, and I'm just making sure that I grabbed all the edges because when I lifted it up there was still some white showing on the number 5. And so I'm gonna just add that as is, not gonna put any foam adhesive on that. And then I'm going to move some things around because I want to add some stars, some gold stars to this particular block. And like I said, I am going to add the journaling on the bottom of that piece. And then, so this layout is fairly complete at this point, but a little later when I looked at the layout, I felt like the empty spaces inside the stars were just missing something, or it there was just a lot of negative space. And so I will go through my stickers and I will add a bunch of them inside the stars. And these are the close-up shots. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.